I told Cliff after he
And then date it right there,
sent
please,
this
sir.
information to Jeremy that
Today is
for us to meet.
5-21.
But he assures me that meeting after, approving this after the fact is okay with him.
And
So
put 20.
I'm not sure that I like that, but
Excellent.
apparently what I like is
That
not,
works. Thank you, sir.
No, that's not what we're
it's
doing.
not being done anymore, so. Cliff, you can present your
Yes.
information to us and we'll approve it since you've already got it on the agenda.
No, I didn't ask Jeremy. I told Jeremy if y'all passed it, it would go on the agenda. So, the background, of course, Nucor has been in an expansion mode now for some time. We voted 2 incentive packages for them. The first incentive package with the vote that the Finance Committee made this week to move the 783,000 whatever dollars and cents were left under that original 1.8 million back into the Nucor segregated account. That will pretty well be cleared out, as will part of the second package. Now they're moving forward with a third set of hiring, which will be another 100 people. So I think, one, we're very fortunate to have these heavy industries that are moving forward with their investment plans in spite of the coronavirus. I mean, it's bringing thousands and hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars onto the tax roll. This one that we're going to vote on today will bring the total Nucor investment since they started these projects up to between $700 and $800 million in investment in Mississippi County, which will go on the tax rolls. And based on their first 2 draws of hiring, they have been hiring Mississippi County residents at about almost a 10% higher rate than they were at before these expansions started. So that's all to the good. So I'm going to ask, and this is, and the Gray River Foundation Board has voted on this, ask you to appropriate up to $1.8 million, which would be the maximum they could draw. That will be an incentive of $18,000 for each Mississippi County resident hired and $9,000 for residents of Pemiscot and Dunklin County, and no other incentives.
What is this expansion going to be, Cliff?
Well, this will primarily be a galvanizing line.
Okay. Now, the original 1.8 or whatever, that was when they did
Coal.
the JMS.
Right, that's a
building.
coal mill expansion.
Right.
And then we did a paint line
A paint
expansion. And this will be a galvanized expansion. So, you know, we're really, I think, and the Nucor managers, as I mentioned in the Finance Committee meeting, they have to bid on these expansions. And so what we do is, you know, I think very important to show corporate Nucor that Mississippi County is a good, solid partner for them in economic development. Because I know on this one in particular, Crawfordsville, Indiana was competing hard to get these expansions. And obviously we don't pay if they don't hire our people, so.
Okay, that's what I was fixing to say. If it doesn't, I was under the impression at the finance meeting the other day that this was an ongoing thing and that they didn't use 783,000. Did I misunderstand then, or am I misunderstanding?
This is a different project.
A different one,
This
okay.
is the third of 3.
Okay. Okay. So what about the 783 or?
Well,
what-
now, when we get our draw, when they send us their report on that,
Mhm.
which I anticipate getting next week, that will pretty well clear that out.
Okay, okay.
Now, Cliff, I know there was a little controversy back a year or so ago on some of that money. Are they submitting invoices, paid invoices to
Yes.
y'all now to justify that?
That's right.
I know before, we were in a situation where if it already been paid for, we couldn't do it or something, but that's all been cleared up.
According to Shep Russell with Friday Law Firm, we can reimburse now. So everybody that we write a check, which really makes it a lot cleaner for us, because we don't have to run it through the county bid system. We just let them take their own bids by what they think is best. Then they present us with the invoice and proof of payment, which is either a canceled check or a bank draft. And then we reimburse them. And then they submit a list, okay, this year we hired, last year we were at, say, and we do it on the total Nucor payroll. Because it's possible that on these expansion lines, a guy with a job already at Nucor, he might get the job on the expansion line, but that opens up his job now for somebody from the Mississippi County. So they move, so last year we had, 200. Then we had 250. Now we're at 300. Next year, maybe we're at 350 for Mississippi County.
Oh, that's what you're giving us, the numbers that have been hired since we incentivized this
Right.
the way we're doing, okay.
I mean, we're up to about 300. It's rough, and then Boot Hill, they roughly hired about 90 people from Mississippi County and about 75 from the Boot Hill of what we've already authorized. But now going forward, we need to have this so that that same incentive will be there for these next 100 jobs that they hire. And the reason we're doing it in advance is I don't want to, the tax doesn't last forever, and I want to have the amounts in there so that we don't get caught over-promising, because while I hope and think that people will approve that this effort goes on, we don't know until they go.
I think it's great that they're expanding and creating jobs. I mean, they've got a big investment here, and I don't know where we'd be without the steel industry.
I got a feeling I do.
Well, I do too.
Yeah. You wanna make the motion, it's up to me or you?
I will make a motion that we incentivize Nucor, this is Nucor, Arkansas,
Yes.
up to $1.8 million for the creation of 100 additional jobs.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Do you have something in writing that we can give Kelly? I mean, that was one thing that Molly was asking about.
He does not. You would have stayed here and you'd have heard that, but you went out and got your phone call. No, he does not.
Well, I can. I mean, y'all just now voted on it. I didn't, but.
It just helps him to make sure that they're getting the right accounts.
Right.
I'm sorry I left your
We
meeting.
can make sure he don't get it if you want to put that in part of the motion.
No,
we can
I'm
make
quite
sure
all
he
right.
doesn't get it without it being put in writing.
I'm quite all
It
right.
just depends on how strict you want to be.
No, all they're looking for is just to make sure they get it right the first time.
Well, that's the first mistake we've made in 20 years. I think that's pretty good.
It's not mine.
And I don't think it's Kelly's fault. I look back at the notes, and he gave me, he asked us for a work program, and so we put it where he asked us. He just made a mistake, but he'll never admit it.
Well, it's not the first one in 20 years. I will admit to that.
There's a bunch of those.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, next.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna ask to vote on. I will, I am working with Big River. Of course, they've been talking about stage 2 and 2A and 2B for about 18 months now, but they are getting about ready to pull the trigger on that. There again, and this is the incentive I've asked them to do just how we've treated Nucor with their expansion. Send us a list of the people who live in Mississippi County and the Boot Hill, who are working there now with their addresses so that we can spot check those. Then we have a baseline. And whatever's out there of the 525 people, you know, if there's 250 people or if there's 100 people, I don't know how many people from Mississippi County are out there. But then we'll know, and if we move forward, which will be in next month's business, then we will start there, and they will hire and keep them for 2 years, and then we'll reimburse them for their expenses. I think that we are getting a higher percentage of people, you know, and I have been talking to the companies. I've talked to Big River Steel, and I haven't gotten an answer. We've talked to Nucor. The judge and I went and talked to them, and I've talked to them about, you know, how important it is that we think that they continue to hire as many Mississippi County people as they can. And I do think this incentive, it makes it real hard for them to just ignore somebody of equal qualification from Mississippi County, which I don't know, you know, that they would do anyway, but one of the things, and this, I wanted to get y'all's opinion on this. I know that the $25,000 that we asked for the workforce person, didn't pass. I don't know if that was just because people were opposed to it, or if it was confusing. But how would y'all feel if in my negotiations with Big River Steel, I asked them as a part of the condition of making this grant incentive offer, that they let somebody be embedded in their hiring department who would be there specifically, not to force them. We can't force anyone to do anything, but if they say, well, we just don't know anybody from Mississippi County, well, with this person, if we hired them the way we thought, which they would be an employee of the college, so they would have all of the people that have come through the work program, all of the people that have come through the college's other programs, plus make contact with all of the temporary agencies. Because, you know, right now, if you're with Temps Plus, they're going to give you everybody they've got, but they're not going to give you anybody that the other one has. And we're not trying to put them we're not trying to take any business away. This person would just call everybody and say, who have you got from Mississippi County? And try to get as many of those people hired as possible. You know, we all know that hiring at all three of the steel mills, HR doesn't have as much to do with it as they would at, say, American Greedy or at, you know, Denso. I mean, it's the team leaders who hire. But having somebody around, it helps. You know, if there's just somebody, I mean, everybody in here has sold something at one time or another, and we all know that if you're calling on your customer and you can come see them, you know, twice a week or 3 times a week, you're probably going to do better than if you, at least to me, it seems like it would be worth a chance just to see if we feel like we do get a greater percentage of people hired.
At last month's meeting, item 5 on the agenda was that you asked for $25,000 to share with Arkansas, the college agency,
Right,
for MISCO Hire Advocates, what you called it.
that's right.
And then when we got the item on the agenda, you had that set up to work solely for Greta and not for A&C. I think we would have approved I think we would have approved had you left it like we talked about it.
Well, I wasn't aware it came in like that, so that would be my third mistake. that-
In 20 years?
In 20 years.
Yeah.
Because it was never supposed to be a Great River employee. It was always supposed to be a college employee.
Well, that's what I said. It was supposed to be shared with us and the college.
Right.
25,000 from economic development.
Right.
The college would pay the rest of it, and it was to be, you called it an internship coordinator.
Right,
At least
well,
that's what's in my notes. Meet with HR persons in the steel industry, help find Mississippi County employees. That's what you told us last month.
that's right. And that's what I'm asking today.
But I don't think that we want to embed it in one of the businesses.
Well, I say embedded, I just,
That's blackmail.
well, it would just be strong advocacy. I
It'd be
mean,
blackmail.
no, blackmail would be if we said, we're not gonna pass any more Act 9 bonds for you if you don't hire half of our people. That would, which, we're not gonna do that. I don't know that it would, I don't know if it will have a positive effect. But, Nucor's gonna be hiring another 100 people. Big River, they may be hiring up to 250 or more with this expansion of theirs. So we're gonna have a lot of jobs coming up, and it would be somebody that, and of course the somebody will be the big part if we hire someone who is an effective salesperson, because that's what they'll be. They'll be selling Mississippi County labor.
Well, is this something that you're interested in, if you want to present it to this group today to see if they will do it, or is it?
Yes, sir.
Or you want to do some bidding,
Bidding.
embedding?
No, we just would have the person, when I say embedded, I would just ask, what I'm gonna ask them for is that this person be given a pass card, like like they give to their suppliers. And they give some to the temp agencies where they can drive up to the window and flash their deal and go in and visit with HR and say, okay, here's some names, here's some people that have just graduated out of the work program or the some other, the welding program.
Okay, you're pussyfooting all around my question. If we approve this, is this something that would meet your needs?
Yes, sir.
This 25,000 shared employee with the college?
Right, yes, sir.
And they'll pick up the rest of the tab.
That's right.
Who's gonna supervise them?
Gene Bennett, who's had training.
Well, that right there knocks it in the head.
Well, there you go.
That would be part of that workforce program, or
Well,
whatever they call
Gene's
it.
in charge of training everything that gets trained at A&C, from the aircraft mechanics, which we're still training, and they're still getting hired, through to the work program, through the all technical training. That whole building, that whole new building is Gene's, as far as his responsibility.
Would this be the same person now, there's been different people, Doug Eccles, different ones that work under him that go out and work with the schools?
Well,
Is
those
that
people.
totally different?
This is a totally different thing. Those people are trying to bring people in for the training. This would be somebody actively trying to place everybody, not just the people from the work program, not just the people, but also including everybody else who's gone through the college, plus people who haven't had anything to do with the college, but who are on the list at Temps Plus or the other 2 temp agencies that would like to go to work for the steel business.
Would they be coordinating with the unemployment office?
Yes. Although, I mean, that's
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people out there right now that are drawing some unemployment from Tenaris and IPSCO and so forth. And the way the thing's working right now, they're not really looking. I mean, they're good employees,
Right.
but they're not in any hurry when they're getting all this supplemental money and everything. But I'm just saying, in the future, there
No,
are
going
people-
forward, they would definitely work with those people because, while, there used to be a saying that if you wanted a job, you went to a temp agency. If you wanted a check, you went to the unemployment office. But now that's not true during this period.
No.
And we do have hundreds of good Mississippi County residents now who are unemployed because of the oil and gas pipe bill. And none of those people are gonna turn down an opportunity to go to work for either Nucor
No.
or Big River Steel.
No.
And it's certainly in our benefit to get them employed as quickly as we can.
How do y'all feel about investing $25,000 in this project for a year and see what happens?
I think it sounds worthwhile.
And I think, you mentioned Big River, I'm assuming they're gonna work with every industry.
Right, right, it'll be everyone, not just, it's just that Big River, with up to maybe 250, maybe even greater, they haven't actually nailed down that number yet.
That was his bedding project. He wanted to embed them with Big River. I'm never gonna let you forget that.
I make the motion.
Okay, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Now, when you write up your other one, you send it, Kelly, write that up
Yes.
before you go home tonight.
I will. Well, thank you. Now that concludes my business.
Anybody else? Judge, you're here, you got something?
No.
Okay, we're adjourned.